What is up, guys? This is Thunderstruck115, and today I am going to be ranking all of the maps in Call of Duty Zombies. So, before we get started, I want to lay down a couple of ground rules. Number 1, I'm only ranking the TREYARCH maps, so no Exo Zombies, Infinite Warfare Zombies, or World War II Zombies. Number 2, I'm only ranking maps that I can play a normal game of Zombies on. So this is important for Black Ops 2 because maps like Transit and Farm will be ranked because I can play a normal game of Zombies on those maps, but maps like Diner or Boro will not be ranked because those are exclusive to modes like Returned or Grief. Number 3, I'm only ranking each map once. I'm not ranking different versions of maps. So like, for example, I'm not going to rank Black Ops 1 Moon as separate from Black Ops 3 Moon. I'm just going to rank Moon. However, I will tell you which version of a map I prefer when we get to them. Number 4, I'm not going to factor in the mechanics of a certain game into whether the maps themselves are good or not. So, for example, a system like the Gobblegums, which is a mechanic for Black Ops 3, is not going to be counted to the credit or discredit of any of the maps in Black Ops 3. Likewise, I'm not going to count the Black Ops 4 mechanics to the credit or discredit of any of the Black Ops 4 maps. However, I may reference a game's mechanics for reasons I'll explain later, but I'm not going to factor the mechanics themselves into the map itself. And by the way, this is just for game mechanics as a whole, but like map-specific mechanics will be included. And number 5, while I am also trying to look at the maps objectively, ultimately this list is just going to be my opinion, so if you don't agree with something, there's no need to get up in arms about it. Just tell me why you agree or disagree and be civil about it. So, now that we got that out of the way, we have a total of 32 maps to rank from the guidelines I listed. So let's go ahead and kick it off with the number 2 spot, which is, of course, Transit. I'm pretty sure everybody saw this coming. Ultimately, now that I look back on it, while Transit was a bad map, the reason for it wasn't because of Treyarch's incompetence, but rather their ambition. It's just a classic case of Halo 2 syndrome, where originally they had this great design, but it had to be cut because the Xbox 360 and PS3 couldn't handle it, and what we were left with was a broken husk. Of course, unlike Halo 2, this really wasn't nearly as enjoyable. It did innovate with things like buildables, but the thing is, a lot of the mechanics like the fire, the denizens, really just annoy me, and so it has to be in the number 32 spot. Coming in at number 31, it's Die Rise. Honestly, my opinions on Transit and Die Rise flip-flop back and forth, but honestly, I find myself having more fun on Die Rise lately, but ask me again in like a couple months, I'd probably say Die Rise is worse. Honestly, it just flip-flops for me because this map was also really poorly designed. Having a vertical style zombies map was a cool idea, but ultimately the map flow is just screwed. The zombie spawns are out of whack, and it takes forever for the early rounds to go by because they spawn all over the place and take forever to get to you. Also, when my primary method of going down on this map is fall damage, you know that's a problem. Now, most of the jumps usually work well, but some of them just don't want to work. Like, for example, jumping from the trample steam room down to the upside down building. Usually it works fine, but sometimes I'll randomly just go down, and I don't know why, even though I landed on the little padding things. While the trample steam was a pretty cool innovation, you have to aim it pretty precisely or else you're gonna miss and you're gonna fall. Now, I've played this map enough since 2013 that I know whether or not I'm gonna land there, but I always have to think twice before I step on the trample steam placed by one of my teammates when I'm playing it with randoms, because I don't know, they might have fucked up the aiming and then I might fall to my death, and it's annoying. Coming in at number 30, we have Moon. This map is really controversial. Either you hate it or you love it, and there's no in between. Personally, I hate it because so many of the mechanics on this map, the astronaut that stalks you around the map and takes your jug, I mean, yeah, I know he breathes to try to give him away, but the thing is, you can only hear him from like 20 feet away, and even then, it's pretty quiet that it's probably going to get drowned out by the sounds of zombie screams and gunshots anyways. The excavators were a horrible addition, and I hate them so much. Area 51 was initially a cool mechanic, but it kinda kills playing this game in co-op unless everybody has a mic, because there's always gonna be that one player who's either AFK or is a noob but thinks they're better, and then they go down and then the game ends before you even get to the moon. Low gravity sometimes causes you to fly off randomly if you sprint, which kind of kills training in low gravity areas. The hacker was a pretty cool innovation, though, I will give it that, and a lot of the defenders of this map say that this is one of the most unique maps in Zombies, and while I definitely agree, uniqueness does not translate to quality. For example, both Transit and Die Rise are also pretty unique, but everybody agrees that they're some of the worst maps in Zombies. And also, the Easter egg, I don't really like it because it relies too much on RNG. Personally, I prefer the Black Ops 3 version as it fixed a few of the problems of the Black Ops 1 version, like not being able to solo the Easter egg or the random flying when low gravity. But still, this map is pretty bad. Coming in at our number 29 spot, we have Shangri-La. Now, honestly, the 3 maps before I actually disliked, whereas Shangri-La, it's just not for me. I don't hate it, and the thing is, it's just my level of skill is not the greatest for this kind of map, because this map is super tight and really hard, with things like the Napalm Zombie, Shrieker Zombie, and of course the monkeys that steal your power-ups. Like, yeah, you can use it to change a bad power-up to something like a max ammo, but the thing is, in the higher rounds, I can't really do that because they dive behind the zombies and I have to kill them or else I'll die. But yeah, the baby gun's pretty good, and the map itself is beautiful, and that's not just the Black Ops 3 version. The Black Ops 1 version is also really good looking. Personally, I prefer the Black Ops 1 version because in Black Ops 3 they neutered the baby gun, and also there's no PhD flopper in the Black Ops 3 version. It got replaced with Widow's Wine, meaning one of the most effective strategies being training with the Mustang and Sally is not nearly as viable. So yeah, just to reiterate, I don't hate this map, it's just personally not for me. But if you enjoy it, I can see why. Coming in at our number 28 spot, we have Bus Depot. This is one of the more boring maps. It's basically the Black Ops 2 version of NACHT and TOTEN because you got no perks, no pack-a-punch, it's just you, a couple wall guns, and the mystery box. But the thing is, I'd rather play NACHT and TOTEN because, while you can train in this, it's just not interesting enough to really warrant more than one playthrough every couple of weeks. It's fun to be sure, but if I am already playing Black Ops 2, I'd much rather play a different map. Coming in at our number 27 spot, we have Farm, and this has the same problems as Bus Depot. It's very basic, not really too interesting, but at least it has more elements than Bus Depot. You at least have the 4 original perks, as well as the Galvanuckles, though somehow there are even fewer wall buys. Again, it's fun to play every once in a while for a nice challenge, but it's not interesting, and it's not something I'd play more than once every couple of weeks. Coming in at our number 26 spot, we have ZETSUBOU no SHIMA. Now, ZETSUBOU is admittedly fun, and I agree that it does get hated on a bit much, though the thing is, getting set up is tedious, and that is the one complaint that I do agree with. Like, getting the KT4 and getting it upgraded just takes so long and so tedious. And even if you don't want the Wonder Weapon, there are so many doors you gotta open that are all pretty expensive. And I think this is to accommodate the Gobblegum system to incentivize using Mega Gobblegums to progress to the map faster. Remember when I said I wouldn't count a certain game's mechanics as for or against a certain map, but I might reference them? Well, this is the perfect example, because what I'm knocking this map for isn't the Gobblegum mechanics itself, but the adverse mechanics of having the Gobblegum mechanics that affects the map design. It makes it really tough to get set up on this map, and getting to the power takes quite a while if you spend money on decent guns to survive, or even if you do get to the power at a decent time, you probably are not set up pretty well to survive. But once you do get set up, the map is pretty fun. I actually have a blast playing this map once I get set up. It's just the initial part is just tedious. Also, fuck the Thrashers. Coming in at number 25, we have Blood of the Dead, the reimagining of Mob of the Dead from Black Ops 2, and it's way inferior. You see, the thing about Mob of the Dead is it had a really nice layout where you could pretty much choose to progress through the map however you want, whereas in Blood of the Dead, it's extremely linear. And while some of the same elements are on the map, they're just not as fun or rewarding to get in this. I like the idea of having a spectral shield to sort of see into the ghostly world, which was a pretty cool concept as a replacement for Afterlife, since we're playing as the premise characters and Afterlife wouldn't make sense in context of the story. It's basically a vanilla version of Mob of the Dead, and honestly, I'd rather play Mob of the Dead rather than this. It's probably my least played map in Black Ops 4, so yeah. Coming in at the number 24 spot, we have Voyage of Despair. I like it slightly more than Blood of the Dead, but the thing is, it's just unexceptional. That's the main problem with this, and it's also the problem with Blood of the Dead as well. It's just, with Blood of the Dead, it was not as good as Mob of the Dead when we could compare it to that, but the Voyage of Despair has a completely new layout. The idea of being on the Titanic is pretty cool and all, but it doesn't really feel like there's much to do around the map, and even the stuff that there is to do just feels tedious. Like, the shield upgrade quest is super fucking tedious and not worth it at all, and the layout can be pretty confusing. It is somewhat challenging, I'll give it that, and it works well with the Black Ops 4 mechanics, but nothing about it really stands out that much either. It's fun, but most of the other maps in Zombies are just better. Coming in at number 23, we have Alpha Omega, which is probably the most original map for the Aether storyline in Black Ops 4 because, yeah, it takes Nuketown from Black Ops 2 and expands upon it, but Nuketown is really only 1/6 of the playable area, and even so, the map plays entirely differently, so all the people saying that this is just a crappy remake and not original at all can fuck off. Still, though, the map itself isn't anything special. It does have a bit more flair and charm than Blood of the Dead and Voyage of Despair do, and I like the cool banter between the Ultimus and Primus versions of the characters, but the map itself isn't the greatest. I like the ideas of the Elemental Ray Gun Mark IIs, and everybody says that they are unoriginal wonder weapons, but they function completely differently from the Ray Gun Mark II, and I guarantee if they had different models, I don't think anybody would bat an eye, so there's that. The Rushmore mechanic was also pretty interesting, but honestly, there's not really much else about the map that really stands out. It just kinda happened. Coming in at number 22, we have VERRUCKT from World at War. This is probably the scariest Zombies map because of the atmosphere, and that's one of my favorite things about this map. It's pretty close quarters, super tight, kind of challenging, but since it is only the second map in Zombies, while it was pretty innovative, it doesn't have much substance to it compared to other Zombies maps, so usually I don't really play this more than once every couple of weeks. My favorite version is probably the World at War version for the atmosphere, and then the Black Ops 3 version is close behind, and then there's the Black Ops 1 version. Coming in at number 21, we have Shino NUMA. Again, this is pretty similar to VERRUCKT in the fact that there's not much substance to it. It's perks, wall guns, and the mystery box, though it did add the Wonder Waff as well as the Ultimus characters. The World at War version is easily the easiest map in Zombies because 3 Wonder Waff shots and you've completed a round. And if you run out of Wonder Waff ammo, there's the traps, and of course there's the dogs to replenish it anyways, so yeah. The Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 3 versions are more challenging because there's more than 24 zombies around. Personally, my favorite is the Black Ops 1 version, followed by the World at War version, and then finally the Black Ops 3 version. I just feel like they just messed up the mud in the Black Ops 3 version, which kind of killed it for me. Coming in at number 20, we have NACHT UNTOTEN, the classic map. The first map in Zombies. This is not full of substance. It was the first map. There's just wall guns and the mystery box. That's it. Survive. So yeah, it does present the unique challenge that you don't have things like perks or pack-a-punch, or at least in the World at War and Black Ops 1 versions. In Black Ops 3, they added the Wonder Fisk and Gobblegums. So yeah. As a matter of fact, I actually prefer the Black Ops 3 version because the additions of the Wonder Fizz actually, I feel like adds some substance to the map, which makes it more enjoyable for me. And then of course the Black Ops 1 and World at War versions are the more classic survive with just the extreme bare bones. But because it's so bare bones, it doesn't really warrant more than one playthrough every couple of weeks. Again, my favorite is the Black Ops 3 version, followed by the World at War version, then finally the Black Ops 1 version. Though I'd say the World at War and Black Ops 1 version are pretty interchangeable, so yeah. Coming in at number 19, we have Ascension. Personally, I like this map, but I just find it a tad bit too easy. And I know I said SHIMA NUMA was the easiest zombies map, but at least it kind of had the charm that, haha, there's so few zombies per round, look how fast I can go through it. Whereas in this, it's pretty easy to train on, but as a result, it makes the map super easy. Also, the monkeys are kind of annoying. If you know what you're doing, they downgrade from aneurysm-inducing frustration to somewhat of a nuisance. If you're playing solo, there's no way you're going to be able to defend all 4 of your perks, but you can easily defend both Jug and Quick Revive and then just buy the other ones back every time there's a monkey around. It's a Black Ops 1 map, and while it definitely is much more replayable than the World at War maps, personally, it's just a bit too easy for my taste. But if you're new to zombies and you want to learn how to train, this is the perfect map to do it on, as there's multiple good training spots. Coming in at number 18, we have NUKETOWN from Black Ops 2. This is a really simple but challenging map. The thing about this map is that the perks, they spawn in periodically at random locations, but you can't just get them all at the beginning of the game. You gotta wait for them to drop in. When this map first launched, it was absolutely lambasted for it, but the thing is, nowadays I appreciate the challenge that it provides, as it forces you to adapt to certain situations. Sometimes you got no pack-a-punch, sometimes you got no Jug. You really gotta learn to adapt to what the game throws at you, quite literally. And it's pretty challenging to train on this, as the areas in the backyard is pretty small. Combine that with a unique set of weapons for this map, and it's really fun. Coming in at number 17, we have Town from Black Ops 2. This map is pretty fun. It's nice to easily just to be able to hop into a game and just survive. It's somewhat challenging. It's pretty much the RIESE of Black Ops 2. It's got 6 perks, or 5 if you're playing solo, because Tombstone's not available on solo. You got the Pack-a-Punch, you got 3 wall buys, which kind of seems a bit low, but you also have the mystery box, and it's just a blast to play on this map. Though I will say, the excessive lava is pretty annoying. I know it's a transit thing, and while lava was present in Farm and Bus Depot, it's pretty much everywhere on Town, whereas on Farm and Bus Depot, there's only a few spots where you're gonna get burned. Pretty simple, but also really fun. Cracking into the top half of the list, in the number 16 spot, we have Buried. This map is pretty easy, though that's mainly because of the bank. But there's also a couple of other mechanics that, while it makes the map easy, it also makes it a blast to play on. Having Leroy, a giant being who would help you if you gave him booze and candy, was a really cool concept, and I really enjoyed its implementation in Buried, because he can do things like he can break open pieces of debris, he can fight off zombies, though they will respawn this way, lock down the box, move the box, change power-ups, construct buildables, etc. You can also choose where you can have certain wall weapons, because there are 6 chalk drawings that you can do. One is pretty easy to spot and serves as a tutorial, the rest are in the gunsmith, but it allows you to customize the map to your liking. Like, for example, if you're going to camp at Jug, then you're probably going to want the AN-94 pretty close to Jug, whereas I've seen some people camp inside the top of the courthouse, so if that's what you want to do, you probably want to put it there instead. This map is unique, and also it's got a nice verticality that, unlike Die Rise, actually works well with the map flow. And while, yeah, it is pretty easy, this is probably my favorite map in Black Ops 2 to play with randoms. Like, yeah, there's Origins and Mob of the Dead, which I haven't yet mentioned on this list, but the thing is, those are complicated, whereas Buried, it's pretty easy to just jump in a game, and while the unique mechanics are there, they're pretty easy to understand. Combine that for a whole assortment of buildables that you can use to create many different strategies, and this is just a really fun map to play on. Coming in at number 15, we have TOTEN from Black Ops 4, and this is a really cool map. It's a reimagining of Call of the Dead. It's got so many new mechanics, like there's the Hermit and the Lighthouse who can really help you. He does so throughout the Easter egg, but also helps you get things like the Heat Pack, a couple free wonder weapons, etc. There's also challenge totems around the map, which you can activate the totems themselves in any order, each of which have 3 different challenges. And the challenges are consistent, so you can tackle them in any way you want, which provide you with an assortment of rewards. There's the Wunderwaffe DG, however the fuck you pronounce that, Scharfschütz, which is like the Wunderwaffe, mixed with the scavenger. It's not nearly as powerful, but it is fun to use. There's the Tundra Gun, which is actually pretty effective, though you can hurt yourself with it, so you gotta keep your distance. And then, of course, there's the Thunder Gun, the same as it was in Black Ops 1. There's also snowballs everywhere that you can throw at the zombies, which I find pretty funny. And overall, this is a really enjoyable map. Coming in at our number 14 spot, we have 5 from Black Ops 1. This, I didn't used to like it, but as I got better at zombies, I actually grew to really enjoy it. It's a nice little fun challenge. The Pentagon is like really tight, and there's so many references to the Black Ops 1 campaign, and you play as John F. Kennedy, Robert McNamara, Richard Nixon, and Fidel Castro. And it's funny seeing their interactions, and this is a really challenging map. Yeah, the Winter's Howl sucks ass, but still, this is a nice, fun map. I used to hate the Pentagon Thief, but since he comes consistently, and if you know how to counter it, he makes it for a nice, fun challenge. It's simple, challenging, and fun. Coming in at number 13, we have Dead of the Night from Black Ops 4. This map is a really fun map, though there is one thing, and that is, in order to really enjoy the map, you gotta memorize like 70 different locations or constantly look up guides, and so I can see why some more casual players would be turned off by this map, because admittedly, the first month after this map launched, I fucking hated it, because I couldn't figure out what the hell I was supposed to do. In fact, one time, like about 7 months after the map released, I saw like a thing in the Pack-a-Punch crystal that I had never seen before, and then I ran around the map for 20 minutes until I found it. So I can see why some more casual players wouldn't like it, but for those that are willing to go and memorize all these 70 different locations, it is a blast to play on. Alistair's Folly is one of the coolest wonder weapons ever, mainly because you can upgrade it twice into the Chaos Theory and Alistair's Annihilator, which are so fun to use. There's the Steak Knife. It's got this whole nice Dracula vampire Halloween vibe. Admittedly, the vampires can be a bit annoying, but it's all better than it was when the map launched, when I swear every third zombie was a vampire and they were absolute bullet sponges. But nowadays it's so much better, and there's so much stuff to do. It's a fun map. The Easter egg is great. I highly recommend it. If you're willing to learn all this shit, then this is going to be a really fun map. Coming in at number 12, we have KINO der Toten. Now, everybody says this is one of the best maps. Personally, I just think that's nostalgia speaking, but it's still a pretty solid map. It's one of the more easier ones and simpler maps to play. You just jump into a game and you play it. Admittedly, it doesn't have too much to do on it, but it's just nice to have a casual game of zombies on this, especially with friends. Personally, I like both versions a lot, though I have to say I slightly prefer the Black Ops 3 version. Coming in at number 11, we have Ancient Evil from Black Ops 4. This map is so awesome. It's got one of the coolest atmospheres with ancient Greek mythology everywhere, mythological references. You're in fucking Delphi, for the love of God. The Oracle mechanic was pretty cool. She can help you out doing a couple of things, like helping you open doors, refilling your ammo, showing you locations for parts that you might have missed, etc. The God Hands are pretty cool. It's pretty easy to get them, and then you can upgrade them with a pretty simple quest, and then once you got all 4 of them upgraded, you can upgrade them even further by doing another side quest, which does take quite a bit to do, but ultimately, from what I heard, it's really good. I haven't actually gotten the Exalted Hands, but this map is a blast to play on. It's simpler to comprehend than Dead of the Night is, but it also leaves a lot for the more hardcore zombies fans to enjoy. This is also the map that, for many, solidified the Chaos story, and then we never got any more maps for it. It's basically the Black Ops 4 version of Origins, and I love it. Cracking into the top 10, we have GOROD KROVI from Black Ops 3. I love this map. You got war-torn Stalingrad mixed with dragons and shit. The Ray Gun Mark III is fun, the Dragon Strike is fun, the Dragon Shield is fun, and a lot of this shit can be upgraded. It's an amazing map. The Easter egg is pretty challenging. The Manglers and the Valkyrie drones were pretty cool additions, even if the Valkyrie drones did get a bit annoying after a while. And there were cool little upgrades you can get, like a Mangler helmet, the Valkyrie drone helmet, or the Dragon Wings, which could help you out. This is just a pretty cool map, and I love it. Coming in at the number 9 spot, we have Classified from Black Ops 4. It's a reimagining of 5. It plays pretty similarly, but in my opinion, it's even better. It adds purpose to the labs. You get Pack-a-Punch at Area 51, and there's more stuff to do, but it's also a really simple map at the same time. It kind of evokes the same feeling as playing a Black Ops 1 map, but with the more newer mechanics and nice quality of life changes that are just make the map even better. The additional areas are all fun, I use them, and it's just an overall amazing experience. And while, yeah, I can see why some people complain that it plays really similarly to 5, this map is just so fun to play on that I honestly don't care. Coming in at the number 8 spot, we have Shadows of Evil from Black Ops 3. This is just a really cool map. Honestly, it could have been its own separate thing, though they did tie it in with the Aether story, but it's got this whole, like, Lovecraftian vibe. Tentacles, squid monsters. It takes the afterlife mechanic from Mob of the Dead, but then changes it into beast mode, so that way you can't go down infinitely, but you can explore the map in an altered state. There's the Apothecant Sword, which you can upgrade. The Apothecant Servant. There's the Civil Protector. Plus, you have the ability to pretty much go about doing everything in the map in whatever order you want. The Easter egg, it's pretty simple, but it's also challenging, though it does require 4 players. And overall, I really love this map. Coming in at our number 7 spot, we have Call of the Dead from Black Ops 1. I like this because it's challenging, but it's not ridiculous. You got 2 wonder weapons. One of them is the VR-11, which is pretty useless in solo, and in co-op it does have a use, though it is pretty unorthodox. And there's the Scavenger, which does crap out after like round 30-ish, but it's fun to use. And then you got George Romero, which many say is pretty annoying. However, it does force you to switch up your strategy to account for him, as you can't just kill him on a dime. You gotta maneuver around him, and if you accidentally piss him off, he's gonna charge at you, power up the zombies, and it's going to make your life miserable. But then you can also calm him down with the water, and overall it's just a really fun map. And by killing George, you can get the Wunderwaffe DG2, which adds a bit of strategy because you have to consistently keep killing George in order to get your infinite damage wonder weapon. The Easter egg is pretty simple, but then again, it was only the 3rd Easter egg in Zombies, so I can excuse that. Overall, it's just my favorite map in Black Ops 1. Coming in at our number 6 spot, we have Revelations from Black Ops 3. This map is awesome. It's a universe in chaos, which is perfectly encapsulated by areas ripped from the timeline, which allows you to play in areas of previous maps. But the thing is, it doesn't feel cheap at all. While many people criticize that it reuses areas from other maps and therefore is unoriginal, I disagree because it recombines these areas into an entirely different map that feels and plays very differently. It's like a boiling pot. You take all the best things about zombies, you throw it in, you get Revelations, and it is fun. You can now upgrade the Apothecant Servant. There's now like 7 different helmets that you can get, which gives you something to work towards. One of them being super overpowered, the God Mask, but you really gotta work for that one. You go inside of a fucking Apothecant where the Pack-a-Punch is at. Holy shit. And while many people say this map is pretty easy because you can just sit in VERRUCKT with the Apothecant Servant, the thing is, there's also a Panzer and a Margot, which the Apothecant Servant do not work against to shake things up. And even still, you can do other things than sitting at VERRUCKT with the Apothecant Servant. There's so many spots to train that each game that I play on this map just feels way different, and I just have a blast on this map. TREYARCH, you did a really good job with this. Cracking into the top 5, we have the map 9 from Black Ops 4. This is an amazing map. It's got one of the coolest atmospheres ever. You are a gladiator in a coliseum in ancient fucking Rome. Sign me up. There's a crowd that cheers you or boos you depending on whether you're doing good or bad. They could throw power-ups to help you if you're doing good, or if you're doing shitty, they'll throw rocks at you. The map design is pretty easy to learn, but there's also depth to it because there's different types of enemies, and I think it works really well. There's, of course, the regular zombies, the catalysts, which function as support roles. There's the brawler, which will jump at you and stab you with the knife hands, meaning you gotta dodge them, but they're not armored. Then finally, there's the gladiators that are really tanky, but move slowly and can throw axes at you and pack a punch, meaning you gotta take down the armor. And then there's the Blight Fathers, which are the big mini-boss things. It might seem like a clusterfuck, but I think it works really well and keeps this map fresh every time I play it. Yeah, you can just train in the central arena, but there's 4 fire jets that you gotta avoid, which adds an extra challenge, which I really like. And honestly, this is just easily my favorite map in Black Ops 4. Coming in at our number 4 spot, we have RIESE / the Giant. This is the last map in World at War, and honestly is the first map to feel complete. While it is pretty simple compared to the maps we have now, that simplicity makes it my go-to map if I just want a quick game of zombies. Like, yeah, the more complex ones have more depth, but the thing is, it takes a while to get set up, whereas on RIESE, I just flip the power switch, grab my guns, grab my perks, and we can go. Camping on the catwalk is fun to do in co-op, whereas you can also train if you want. It offers a decent challenge, and it's the first map to have the Pack-a-Punch. It's honestly just so cool. It's my go-to map for just a normal, simple survival game. It was also the first zombies map to have an Easter egg called Elevate Your Senses, where you gotta activate the fly trap. It's not much compared to what we have now. It's just activate Pack-a-Punch, shoot the pennant with a Pack-a-Punch gun, and then shoot the 3 little things that are found around the map. But this laid the groundwork for all the awesome quests that we have now. Overall, a really cool map. Personally, my favorite version is actually the Giant from Black Ops 3, and then the Black Ops 1 version, and then finally the World at War version. I do like the gun variety in World at War for this map, but the thing is it's super glitchy in that game, so I prefer the other versions for that. But yeah, this is an awesome map. Coming in at our number 3 spot, we have Der EISENDRACHE from Black Ops 3, and you fight zombies in a castle. It feels like the spiritual successor to Origins. You got 4 bows, and they're all pretty cool. And of course, there's the lightning bow, which is super overpowered, but they're all really cool and effective to use. It's really fun. It has one of the best, if not the best, Easter egg in zombies. Couple that with a really good map design, and you have the recipe for one of the coolest maps in zombies. Coming in at our number 2 spot, we have Mob of the Dead from Black Ops 2. This is one of the most unique maps in zombies. You're on the prison at Alcatraz Island, and you gotta escape while there's zombies everywhere. I really love the map design because the way it's set up, you can pretty much go anywhere you want to and progress the way you want. Like, usually what I do is I open the doors, I use Afterlife to get the key, open the showers, then I feed the first dog, then after that I go to the infirmary, feed the second dog, and also open the roof. Then I take the gondola down to the docks, get Jug, feed the third dog, and then use the tunnels to work my way back up to the prison. But there's so many other strategies you can do. Like, a lot of people I've seen just rush straight down the tunnels to the docks, or they just go up to the gondola and take that down to the docks as soon as they can. And there's really no correct way to do it, because there's so many different options, and if you're good enough, you can make them work. The Afterlife mechanic was also pretty cool. Brutus was a fun mini-boss. The Hell's Retriever was pretty fun, and you could upgrade it to the Hell's Redeemer to make it do infinite damage. The Golden Spork was fun to get. The Blundergat had 2 versions. You could have the Blundergat and upgrade it to the Sweeper, or you could have the Acid Gat and upgrade it to the Vitrolic Withering, and both of them are really fun to use, even if they aren't the most effective wonder weapons. Building the plane is fun, and also it has one of the best narratives in a zombies map ever, mostly because it's self-contained, but honestly, I'm gonna be blunt when I say that the Mob of the Dead crew is my favorite in zombies, and no, that's not excluding the main crews like Primus, Ultimus, and Victus. They're my favorite crew, period. The Easter egg is pretty easy, but it's fun to do, and it's just super good. But there's only one map that can take the number 1 spot, and I'm sure y'all knew this was coming. Ladies and gentlemen, coming in at the #1 spot for the best zombies map of all time, it's Origins. Where do I begin? The staffs, the atmosphere, the unique selection of weapons, the tank, the crazy place. It's so fun because there's so many things you can do to enhance your game, but you're not necessarily required to do it. If you just want to have a regular game of zombies, all you gotta do is activate the 6 generators, which is pretty easy, and then you got power everywhere as well as the Pack-a-Punch. But there's so much more to do than that. You can get G-strikes, which are beacons that cause the missile strikes from the robots to attack, and it's very devastating. The staffs are all fun to use. The Maxis drone is pretty cool. It's... What better way is there to describe Origins that hasn't already been said? It's just so awesome. I prefer the Black Ops 2 version over the Black Ops 3 version because Black Ops 2 has just a unique selection of weapons like the SCAR or the Scorpion Evo or the KSG that aren't found on any other map, whereas in Black Ops 3 it just pretty much uses the same weapon selection that all the other Black Ops 3 maps have. Also, Black Ops 3 did something to the mud on the map that made it really slow to go through, whereas, well, in Black Ops 2 it slowed you down. You could hop through it, whereas in Black Ops 3 trying to hop through it will only slow you down even further. But still, both versions are great, but the Black Ops 2 version easily takes the cake for the #1 spot. If y'all enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe for more. This video took a long time to make. I had to get footage of every single map and stitch it all together with this awesome voiceover. So that would really be appreciated. And tell me what you think of my rankings. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Tell me in the comments. Anyways, that's it. Peace!